Welcome to Podadelphia. My name is Dave Diorio. You can find me on Twitter at @fat_lobster. And I am joined by no one. Sarah is out tonight. Gene is experiencing some technical difficulties, so I'm sure he will join the show anytime now. So if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, please jump in with the conversation and help me keep this boat afloat for at least a little while. It's Thanksgiving week. So we had planned a show around what we are thankful for in Philadelphia sports currently. And we'll go through each of the four teams, or maybe just I will go through each of the four teams and talk about what we're thankful for. And I am thankful that Gene has regained connectivity. Gene, what's up, man?
Well, I feel like I'm staring down. Let me
You're on the phone.
go. Yeah, let me go vertical.
Okay, you want to go vertical? All right, we go vertical.
Yeah, we'll do that. Oh, Jesus Christ! Comedy
All
of
right,
errors.
Gene's going
All right,
dark.
all right. I'm good. No, I should be back now. I'm good.
Gene, I wanted to start the show talking about your weekend.
My weekend. All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk about my weekend.
Yeah. You went to your first Union game.
I did.
First ever. You've
Yeah.
never been to Subaru Park ever.
No, and I wasn't at the link or wherever they played before they moved to Chester. And I have to say it was a great experience. It's actually the first non-Citizens Bank stadium experience I've had since like 2019.
Okay, so you went to you didn't go to just any game. You went to a playoff game.
I went to a
round
playoff
one.
game. Round one, fight
against the Red Bulls.
Yeah, I have to say I was, there was so much to experience because I hadn't been, the only other live professional soccer games I had been to have all been exhibition matches. So there was not really any sort of intensity. There were also European teams playing in the States. So, it was a lot of people that don't quite, it's hard to get the same blood up about a team in an exhibition season than it would be in a team, that you have a rooting interest in. So
tell me, all right, so you watch 90 minutes of regular time with no scoring. Then you get to the first 15-minute overtime half, no scoring. And we're basically in penalty time in the second overtime half. And we're about to go to penalty kicks. What was the mood of the crowd? Was everyone tense? Was they still optimistic? Were the Sons of Ben still beating the drums? Or was everyone just like, this is ridiculous?
Well, I'll tell you, I have there's only two complaints I have about the entire experience. One is they continue to run the clock, or they don't continue to run the clock at the end of halves or at the end of the game at Subaru Park. I don't know if you've ever been there or ever noticed.
So it just stops at 90 and then they don't.
It stops at 45 or stops at 90. So thankfully, the guy I was with, he's a season ticket holder, long-time season ticket holder. I think he's had them I think he told me he's had them for 6 years or 7 years. And, he's worked his way up through the season ticket holder ranks. So he's actually a club member. So that gave us access to a couple of perks. We could go into the club level, and you can go there, before or after the game. You can go there during the game.
Is that you can Hall of Fame level at Citizens Bank?
Very similar, and you have your own private. There's a concession stand in there. There is a beer line, and then there's a balcony.
And you get toilet seats without piss all over them.
Yeah, you do.
Good.
So you do get some real perks. There's also a balcony that comes off of that club level, which is directly opposite of the Sons of Ben section. So where I was standing.
Oh, so you guys were behind the goal.
So just to back up. So just to back up for a second, we had seats in section like 106, which were just slightly to the basically right behind the Union bench, right behind Jim Curtin. So slightly to the right of half.
You were behind the curtain?
Yeah, behind the curtain. One of my favorite chants was "Bring back the suit" because Jim Curtin now wears track suits instead of like actual business suits.
Okay.
He's become much more comfortable now, I guess, since
Pay
COVID.
no attention to that gene behind the curtain.
So another cool thing about our section, so we were in 106, 107 was Wall of Famer or Ring of Honor member Latu. He was sitting just a section over from us.
Cool.
He basically walked right past me, I guess, on his way to get a beer. So
Nice.
it was
Nice.
pretty exciting to get to see like a legit Union celebrity. Yeah, so that's where we watched 90 the 90 minutes of the game, and then we watched the first half of overtime. And
How
then
was the crowd?
The crowd was it's hard for me to judge because I had never seen one, but I will tell you, from what James told me, he was who I was with, he said it was the best crowd that had been there all year. And even the Red Bull supporters were like in full throat. The Sons of Ben had the drums going, they had the chants going. Yeah, it was a great atmosphere. It was a great crowd.
I was afraid we were getting through the whole game and you weren't going to get a chance to dupe.
Yeah, no, we were worried. We were definitely worried. We thought that there was going to go to penalty kicks, and nobody really wanted that because, from everything that I understand, this would have been a sort of a letdown. The Union is the 2 seed going into the tournament. The Red Bulls, we know the Union have had their number pretty much all year, and really, honestly, I'd say for 3/4 of regular time, the Union had the run of play. But as some of the Union starters really started to show fatigue late in the second half, you could sort of see the Red Bulls pick up the pace. And, there was a couple of really good chances late in the second half that almost put them ahead. So obviously you don't want to go to penalty kicks because, and maybe this is just the Flyers fan in me because, I just am tortured by the idea of having to decide a playoff game on penalty kicks. But thankfully, it didn't get there. So
the Andre Blake save was basically point blank.
Yeah.
How he saved that, I have no idea.
He's outstanding, is what it is.
Yeah, the post, the shot that hit the post, for the Red Bulls. Really, I mean that could have that changed the whole complexity of the game. And then the Glesnes goal,
right,
which was just incredible because. It's off his chest. He controls it. It hits the ground. It bounces. He picks it in the air and just drops it in beautifully. And it's such a wild game because I watched the entire game with my sons. And at that point, my youngest son has wandered off. He's looking at an iPad. My oldest son has lost interest. He's looking at his phone. My wife was doing, whatever. And then like lightning strikes. It happens. Right. And that's the thing about soccer. It's just like, you can't look away. It can lull you into a false sense of security and then bang, like something incredible happens. And if you blink, you miss it.
So we, I didn't know a lot about this incarnation of the Union team. I'll admit that I was a bit underprepared when I was going in, but I will say that I felt like I was like 10 again being at my first Eagles game. There were, aside from just my friend who was a season ticket holder and a rabid Union fan, he had a great group that he tailgated with that we met up with, and they were super fun to hang out with before the game. And then when we got seated, a couple of guys sat down next to us and just loved talking, every nuance of the game. We talked about formations. We talked about substitution strategy. And a lot of the things we talked about was that Glesnes is a guy that will shoot basically from anywhere. He has, I think, 2 goals this season that were basically from half. And
his goals are wild.
These were not free kicks. These were run of play goals basically scored from half. Not chip the goalie, shots on goal from the circle that this guy has put away. One of them is probably going to be goal of the year for MLS. But so with that in mind, we decided just to sort of get feeling back in our fingers and toes, we would go up sort of between the first intermission of the extra time and the second intermission in extra time. So we're at like minute 105. We wander up to the club, get ourselves situated, get ourselves rebeard, and back out into the onto the overhang that is directly facing the goal where the game-winning goal would be scored. So we're looking straight down at where the Suns of Ben are. And interestingly enough, on that club level, I think that's a lot of players' families and players' wives. There was a lot of different tongues, different languages being spoken up on the up on that, and the Union, MLS in general, but the Union specifically is a very international squad. So you had a lot of like Eastern European languages being spoken. You had some Jamaican being spoken. So
Gene got a lot of tongue at the Union game behind the curtain.
I think that's going to be the title.
Sounds like a successful night. So we play the winner of Nashville Orlando on the 28th. So what's that, Sunday?
Yeah, and I don't know if the game time's been announced.
It's at 5:30, and Nashville and Orlando are 1-1 at the 60-minute mark. So we will keep you posted as that game goes on tonight. And another thing I want to talk about before we get into the Eagles and like a little bit of our Thanksgiving, we got to talk about Bryce Harper.
I don't think we did that justice last week because we didn't. The last show we had. Well, the last show we had, we were sort of waiting to hear if it was going to be sort of new, but
kind of a weird thing. Like I don't know that. I mean, I'm getting soft or something, but this, like him winning the MVP, I kind of got a little emotional about it. I don't know why.
I think I have a similar feeling because, there was so much anticipation in him coming to the Phillies. We were so invested in him sort of embracing us as a fandom. And I think that from the jump, he has tried to sort of, pull us in as a fan base into his sort of orbit. Partly in the way he dresses, partly in just how he interacts with fans, partly in the way he presents himself on social media. There hasn't been any evidence to me that suggests that he is unhappy with the decision that he made. I mean, it's hard to be unhappy with that contract, but I think he really does genuinely, especially after, you can only keep this up for so long if there isn't something sincere about it. I think we've all seen enough players come through Philadelphia to know, especially baseball players, to know that if they're not feeling it, because it's a long season, it's a grind, and you're talking, this was his third year. If he wasn't feeling it, you would be able to tell that he was not happy in Philadelphia. And from everything that I can tell, he loves being a Philly, wants to complete his career here, wants to be known as a Philly. And I think that we're all sort of disappointed in how the season ended. I think that we all got sucked in several times over the course of last year to think that, we are going to maybe be a playoff team. It's, playoff baseball is going to be back. This team is going to be, it was right there in August. It looked like all the signs were pointing towards this is a team that's going to make the playoffs. And when they didn't, I think that we all were sort of hoping that at least, Bryce Harper basically put them on his back around the end of July and put together an offensive campaign that was incredible. I don't know if we've ever seen a better offensive year by a Phillies player, probably since like Mike Schmidt's MVP year. Or maybe Ryan Howard's
2007 Ryan Howard year was pretty wild.
Yeah, that was pretty spectacular too. But there's just certain other things I think that Bryce Harper also brings you.
Yeah, I think, and we could debate this for a second here, but I think Bryce Harper is the embodiment, the one man embodiment of Philly sports right now. November 23rd, 2001. He is peak Philly sports. And you could have a conversation about maybe Joel Embiid. And Sarah's not on the show tonight, so I can say that I don't think this crown can ever be held by a Flyer. It just doesn't. I feel like it's impossible. It's either got
I
to
don't
be
know.
a
I think
Sixer,
there was
Philly, or
I think there
Eagle.
was a time where Eric Lindros might have been able to wear the crown.
Well, so give me the years for that. Late
Right,
90s.
right around when they made that cup run against the Red Wings, the Flyers were sort of. I mean, the Eagles were not good. The Phillies were
Yeah, but we had AI then.
dreadful.
Did we have AI at that time?
Yeah, but AI really didn't come into his own until like 99, 2000. And this is 97. This would have been very early AI. I think before you really knew that he was going to be the Hall of Fame guy that he would become by the year 2000, by 99. I think that like that 96, 97 era, I'm just, I would argue that would
Maybe.
have been, and
Maybe.
maybe in the 70s, Bobby Clark could have worn the crown, but he would have had a lot of competition then.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just have a hard time, like, because I know that there would be like, well, what about Claude Giroux? And I just don't
Mm,
think that that's
I
part of the
think I don't
conversation
think
here.
Claude Giroux ever would have. His whole career has been sort of overshadowed by truly mega Philadelphia iconic players.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't know when they announced. Like, oh, did you watch the announcement, by the way,
I did. Mm-hmm.
with Mike Schmidt?
Yeah.
So first off, Mike Schmidt is wearing this like bedazzled Phillies jersey, right?
Yeah.
Like it almost looked like
It looked like something you would pick up at Michael's.
or something you would make after a trip to Michael's.
Right.
And is this like the most awkward announcement ever? It was like, oh well, I'm gonna I think a lot of Philly fans are gonna be happy with this announcement. So it's like, okay, so it's Bryce Harper, and he's like,
Right.
so I'm just going to announce it, and then he brings up this like champagne glass, like he's the ladies man on
Right.
Saturday Night Live. This is Bryce Harper, and it was just like I don't know if the hosts were
It was the
expecting to announce, but it
worst.
was
It was
very
the worst.
anticlimactic.
Yeah, it was the worst kept secret in baseball.
And it was like, okay, so he won.
Once they
Yeah,
announced, yeah, once they announced that Mike Schmidt was going to make the announcement, I feel like that was, I mean, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion as far as I was
yeah, of
concerned.
course.
But I'll tell you, I'm a little surprised. And Mike Schmidt is sort of I guess, the Phillies ambassador for these sorts of things at the moment. Um, I don't know if he's the best choice, which is probably sort of a hot take, but um, I really am surprised that it wasn't Jimmy Rollins. He was the last
Yeah,
Philadelphia MVP. I think that they would have been able to sort of mask what they were trying to do when you have a guy like Jimmy Rollins do it, because he did play similar positions to some of the other guys on the ballot. I honestly don't remember, and maybe it's just because it's been a long time since the Phillies have had an MVP. I don't remember there ever being any sort of announcement about who was going to announce the MVP before.
yeah, it's
I don't
weird.
know. I couldn't tell you who announced Ryan Howard's MVP award. I couldn't tell you who announced Jimmy
Well, I don't know
Rollins'
that it was a
MVP award.
show like, was it a program at that time? I feel like if it was a show, we would have watched it.
Yeah, and I feel like I just heard on the radio or saw it on the crawler on ESPN, like I did
Yeah, yeah.
every other MVP announcement in the history of the world. So maybe this is a new thing. I would say that if I was the programmer, or if I was a booking agent on that show, and I had any concept of how current Phillies media is right now, I think I would have gone with either John Kruk or Jimmy Rollins as far as a guy who was going to give you the right show for what you were looking for. But hey, they got Michael Jack. You're not going to have any, and nobody's going to complain about putting Schmidt up there. I just think that Mike Schmidt is always going to be a better third baseman than he is anything else he ever does.
What did you think of Jim Salisbury's MVP ballot? Did you see that?
I saw it, and I think I saw that he did have Bryce first, but then I
Yeah,
guess there was
so
some other controversial
yeah,
picks
so
beyond that.
Salisbury's, definitely a homer, right? Like he's a Philly guy, he's Philly
Hmm.
affiliation. So he votes Harper first and Soto seventh.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, his ballot is Harper, Turner, Goldschmidt, Riley,
Really,
Crawford.
Riley?
Yeah, Austin Riley.
Yeah.
Brandon Crawford, then Tatis sixth, and Soto seventh.
Wow. I don't know how it's not you don't go Harper, Soto. I mean, then everybody else basically.
Yeah, I,
Goldschmidt is interesting. I think Goldschmidt did have a pretty solid year, but
he did, and I actually don't even mind the Austin Riley vote being up so high, but to put Soto seventh is just you're
that
just
just
trying to
seems
sandbag the
seems right.
competition,
That
and
just
it's
seems
just like
vacant.
dirty
Yeah.
pool.
Yeah.
Not really a huge fan of that. But
Yeah.
anyway, congratulations, Bryce Harper. Super happy, looking really sharp in the red suit and the
Well, and
shaved
my
head.
my favorite piece of trivia was that Bryce Harper is the first under 30-year-old major leaguer to win two MVPs with two different franchises since. You remember who the other guy was? He's got a
I don't
very
know,
large
Bonds.
head. Barry Bonds,
Right.
Pittsburgh and San Francisco.
Nice.
So yeah, so Bryce Harper in what could be Hall of Fame company if Barry Bonds finally gets in here on his last ballot. I know that you and I don't think that it's going to happen,
No, I
but
don't think it's
he
gonna
is in his
happen.
final year on the ballot.
Hey,
So
we
is
got a lot of
Robert
buddies
Clemens.
on the ballot this year.
Man, it really does feel like some Phillies connection should get in this year, and
Definitely, definitely. I mean, Rollins and Howard are both on there. I don't think Howard's going to make it, but I think Rollins has a chance.
I think
Probably
Rollins
not
has a
first
really
ballot,
good
but
chance. And see, the thing is, I think now seeing that ballot this year was like, wow, Jimmy Rollins does have sort of that same cachet as some of these other guys. He certainly, it's not like he's outclassed or doesn't belong here.
he's the all-time hit leader for an organization that's like 120 years old.
Right,
Uh,
right, and has 10,000 losses. You got to be around a long time to get many losses.
yeah.
And he plays a premium position with great offensive numbers, where
Yeah.
the most of the guys that are stellar
Yeah.
at the for as good as he
And
was
he's
a
got an
fielder,
MVP and
mhm,
he's got a
and
World
he won it
Series.
right, and he won a title.
But outside of that, we have Scott Rowland is on there. He
Mhm.
will get in, I think, at
Yeah.
some point.
Again, he's a guy. He's got some good personal awards. He's got a lot of Gold Gloves. He's got a lot of
Yeah.
Silver
Yeah.
Sluggers. He's
Schilling's
got,
on his last year.
and I think Schilling's going to get in, and it'll be interesting to see how he reacts.
Well,
I'm
last year he got
personally
very close.
I'm personally rooting for it because I want to see what Schilling does when he's let in.
He got very close last year. Probably got kept out because of some of his, political statements. And then after he didn't get in, said, just take me off the ballot, which they didn't
Unfortunately, we
do.
don't think that's how it works.
That's not a thing that happens apparently. So we'll see. I wonder what happens if he gets voted in. Will he just decline
Although
it?
baseball writers can
Will
be
he ask Donald Trump
very
what he should do?
uh, baseball writers can be very bitter and hold a grudge, and some of
That's
these
true
guys
too.
may just be like, "Hey, you don't want to be in? Fine, you don't have to go in." Um,
Yeah.
but I think there might be enough of the guys that vote strictly down the line with the Hall should have the people that the Hall should have, um, and Schilling doesn't have any of those black marks like Clemens does. Schilling's got some weird offbeat, off-color political views. He's sort of a guy that you want to muzzle sometimes, but he didn't gamble on baseball. He didn't juice that we know of. There are certainly worse people in the Hall of Fame than Curt Schilling.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys on that ballot that are like, yeah, that's my early 20s. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
In a nutshell. That's my early 20s all-star game like viewing basically.
Yeah. Did we mention Bobby Abreu's up there?
Yeah, Bobby Abreu. Yeah, a lot of good, Todd Helton. A lot of good, solid players from the early aughts.
Yeah.
Up there.
So we'll see how it shakes out. It's interesting now to start to see these guys who are, pretty soon we're going to start to see guys go into the Hall of Fame that are our age, which is going to be sort of a mind trip. That we would be at an age that we could be in a Hall of Fame if we had any semblance of physical prowess. But yeah,
It's never too late, Gene. You'll get in a Hall of Fame of something.
Yeah, Hall of Fame of podcasting.
Maybe.
Never know.
All right, so let's. That's enough pre-show talk. Let's start the show.
Welcome to Behind the Curtain.
What do you think, Gene? Let's start the show.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. I thought maybe you were going to actually play the song.
Vamp, play the theme song.
Yeah.
Eagles this week at home against the Saints, laying the lumber on the Saints, taking care of business at home, putting the smack down, no doubt about it. Win. Let the foot off the gas a little bit in the second half, but
yeah,
they're not an elite team, but they sealed the deal.
This was a Saints team that came in the best run defense in the NFL. That's not nothing. And instead of trying to get cute and overthink it, the Eagles have done what they've been doing the best of any NFL team in the last month or so. They ran it down their throats. They gave them a solid dose of Jordan Howard until he went out, and then they continued to run with Miles Sanders, and Boston Scott got a lot of carries. So I guess here is my. I don't want to call this and
Jalen Hurts, right? I mean, like,
let's not
neglect our leading rusher.
Yeah, who also had 3 rushing touchdowns, I think, on the day.
Yeah.
But I think that it all feeds to what is my main point is I am willing to completely throw myself onto this Eagles bandwagon as long as this is the Eagles team I continue to see. I don't want to see a team where they run the ball less than 5 times ever again. And certainly not this season.
5.
They did. They had a game this year.
I know.
I know.
They
had less than 5 running plays.
I don't want to see you run less than 5 times. It's like, okay.
This is the thing that's crazy. They have a game on their schedule where they called less than 5 running plays in an NFL game. They are still the leading rushing team in the NFL. How does that happen?
Some of those were run pass options. You gotta.
Right. But I mean, this is the thing, and the other thing that's been really fun to watch, sort of in the post-mortem of this win against the Saints, is just go and look at some of the highlights of our offensive linemen. My God, I have never rewatched a block from a center as much as I watched that one. Kelsey comes around the guard on this play. I think it was sometime in the third quarter where he goes to trying to get the linebacker he's designed to block, blows up 2 other guys on his way there. It's just an incredible thing to watch. Nobody blocks like that guy does. Jason Kelsey is in a league all his own the way.
So
that
my son and I, there was one play where Mailata he blocked his guy and then cast him aside, and then with one hand hit a guy on the shoulder, and that guy went flying down.
Mm-hmm.
And we just rewatched that 3 or 4 times, and I'm just like, man, I don't know. Mailata, if you got to get a jersey, Mailata might be a good one.
He's going to be here for a while, and
if you got the shoulders to carry a Mailata,
yeah, I feel like
you
should get one for you and both your sons. You can all wear it together, and maybe
I'd have to hold them on my shoulders.
They could each stick their heads out of the armholes, and then you could go and get into movies for cheap.
It's fun to watch, and again, my son goes, "Oh, why don't they throw the ball?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, it's like, it's boring to watch this running because it's not, like in Madden, I just throw it. I'm just like, oh man, you have so much to learn about football. It is so demoralizing to play against the NFL's leading rushing team. It's like the clock just ticks and ticks and ticks, and you don't have the ball. And we are moving, we are marching down the field incrementally, and you look up at the clock and it ticks and it ticks and it ticks, and you're getting hit and hit and hit, and these guys are just ripping off 7, 8. I think there was 4 plays in a row where they ran Jordan Howard just right up the gut. And
Right.
he
For
got
like
at
6 or
least
8
7
play.
yards on each one of those.
It was crazy. It's like what I always amounted to is like trying to play. It's like you're playing Texas Hold'em and you're willing to play with your hand up every time and still win. They know what you're going to do. They know how you're going to bet. They know you're going to, you're going to run it right up your gut, and they still can't stop you.
Yeah.
It's been
It's only
really,
a matter,
really
are
fun
you
to
going to
watch.
get the thunder or are you going to get the lightning?
Well, and the other thing is it makes Hurts so much better because I don't think that he is a pass first quarterback.
Nope.
I don't think that he is going to just throw it all over the field. He's not a guy that you want throwing the ball 50 times a game. He can throw it. He can do all of the things that you need to do, but I think that you are not utilizing sort of the intangible advantages that he brings
the run
to you.
game has made Hurts elite level over the last 5 weeks.
His accuracy numbers are up. He has the best quarterback rating over the last 4 weeks in the NFL. Best quarterback rating in the NFL over the last 4 weeks.
And you have to give credit to the coaching staff that continues to stick with this game plan. Yes, you might say like, okay, well, it's obvious. It's the only thing you can do. So just keep doing it. But, there's that concept has eluded coaches in the past in this town.
Yeah, just ask Doug Peterson.
Yeah, when you have this you have these weapons at your disposal, you have to use them. And it's making Hurts better, it's making Devontae Smith better. The defense is being put in much better positions than constant 3 and out, get back on the field.
Well, we're doing to the other team what they were doing to us. We are leaving their defense on the field, and we're doing it early in games so that when you get to the third and fourth quarter, you're coming up against a defense that's already taken a ton of body shots. That's where you can open yourself up for some big plays. You can open yourself up for big plays on the ground because the Eagles run a rotation of 4 quality running backs that can all beat you in different ways. And I think that in the past, there were a lot of coaches that were afraid, certainly early in seasons. Well, we don't want to overtax our running back. We don't want, we want him to be available later in the year. That's bunko. If you've got the offensive line that the Eagles have and have, had for years, taking last year out, for example, you should have been pounding the rock for a decade. We should be basically known as a running team, but we've got an owner that loves to throw the ball, much like your son. But the Eagles, I think, have become a much more entertaining team to watch. They are in a position because of the way the schedule is laid out, and this is going to happen. You were going to have, if you're going to have a schedule that was as front loaded with difficult games in the beginning of the year, you were going to have a bit of a swing in the other direction. So all these people that are like, oh, well, they're just beating up on bad teams. Also, they were hanging in there against teams that were pretty good. They weren't getting the doors blown off of them all year. That was one of the reasons why we were so frustrated, because we could see that they had potential to win against Kansas City. They could have beaten San Francisco. They did not have a great game against Las Vegas, but I would like to see that game again with the way Vegas has sort of been mincemeated over the last couple of weeks with their own internal stuff. The Eagles are catching the Giants at a great time because guess what? They just let go of Jason Garrett today. Did you see that? Talk about a team that is imploding or are suffering from self-imposed wounds. The Giants, man, that game against Tampa was ugly. So long, farewell, Jason Garrett. I was sort of hoping that they would keep him through the end of the year. The guy has no clue how to call an offensive game. But we'll see. Maybe one of his assistants has figured something out, how to use Daniel Jones or something. So, but yeah, I think the Eagles are going to be a playoff team. I would not want to draw them in the first round. This is a team that, other than this week, have all their wins on the road. So it's a team that's not afraid to play in other people's stadiums. So fly Eagles fly. It's been a great couple of weeks. I'm super excited for Sunday.
Yeah. What do we got? We got Giants, Jets,
Bye.
Redskins, Giants, Cowboys, right? That's it. That's the schedule. That's what's left.
Yep.
Oh, what do we got going on in the room there, Gene? You got your office? All right.
Yeah, this is my office.
It's
I'm turning on my computer.
Cribs.
I'm turning on my computer because
happens.
I'm worried that my phone's going to die, so I don't want to lose you.
All right. Well, it's fine. I'll bring us home. Don't worry. If it dies, it dies.
It dies.
Yeah.
So so I basically monopolized that whole part of the conversation. What do you think about the Eagles?
They're fine. Here's the here's the thing. I want them to actualize their potential this season. This is not a year where I'm like, oh, let's tank the last game and see what happens.
Yeah, I don't want to wait. Am I impatient because I want a playoff game?
It's not about waiting. Like, they're not going to win the Super Bowl, so like, don't what are you waiting for? But I think it'll be good for the team. It'll be good for Jalen Hurts. It'll be good for Nick Sirianni for them to make the playoffs. And if they can get in as a wild card team, let's do it. Whatever. We got 3 first-round picks. Those picks are getting worse, by the way, every week.
I know,
but
which is why there's no reason to tank. You know what I mean? Hey, 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, but I mean, 2 of them are going to be good.
Picks.
One of them is going to be good, right? A good pick. It's not going to be top 3 anymore, maybe not. But yeah, it looks like the Wentz pick's going to convey. So don't sweat that too much now, and let's just do your best. Do your best. And if you get in the playoffs, awesome. Like, round 1 of the playoffs, if the Eagles aren't in, you're going to wish they were in. And we're going to go into a game as an underdog, which is no surprise to us. And we're going to roll the dice and see what happens. And shit, maybe we could shock somebody. And how exciting would that be? When you're walking into a season going like,
right.
Are they over or under 6 wins? Like, I don't know, even though this podcast said all along they're an over 6-win team. And it turns into a
and I think that's very
season.
apparent.
I mean, like, you can't be angry with that.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they don't make the playoffs, they make it interesting last game.
Especially
like,
considering
if the Dallas game means something. Whoa, that's you would have taken that at the beginning of the year.
All right, so let me in versus B.
Oh my gosh, we got double Genes. All right, let's see what happens here. So yeah, I mean, so the Eagles, it's exciting. Let's ride it out. See what happens. I'm optimistic. I'm happy the coaching staff is sticking with a game plan that makes sense, has led to success, is leading to wins. I'm happy for the offensive line. It'll be interesting if they get Brooks back, and that offensive line healthy again, and to see what they can do all together. So that'll be great. I don't think Gene's coming back. This is quite a show today. So I guess we'll move into the Thanksgiving portion of the show. So I would be thankful for some sort of technical stability on this show, but that doesn't appear like that's going to happen. So let's go into what I'm thankful for from the four Philly sports teams. And I want to start off talking about the Flyers and what I'm thankful for with the Flyers. And I have had a contentious relationship with the Flyers over the years. They are sort of a maddening organization that has had sort of tricky relationships with the fan base, with the media. But one thing when I think of the Flyers and their hi Gene, you're back.
That's frustrating, but I'm back.
That's okay. We're on to the thankful portion of the show where we bring it home in these last 15 minutes. And
good.
I'm starting to talk about what I'm thankful for about the Flyers. And I got to say,
Okay,
the
all
thing that
right.
I'm most thankful for about the Flyers is their uniform logo situation. It has remained constant the entire history of the team. It's changed, tweaks here and there. Color hues have been adjusted, but that logo is it's steady, it's iconic, and it stands the test of time. I love it. I hope they never ever change it. When you look back on the other teams, they have all gone through some trends and fads and have tried a lot of different things over the years, but the Flyers have always remained constant with the puck with wings and the black, orange, and white, and it's just, it's chef's kiss. It's just a perfect hockey logo, and I hope they never change it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's right up there with sort of the other icons of American sports. There's the Yankees. There's, that's a uniform that's gone through almost no changes. There's the
Yep.
Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a uniform that's gone through almost no changes. Um,
The Browns.
yeah, there aren't very many. The Cleveland Browns, the maybe the Chicago Bulls in basketball. Basketball's weird because they do those like city logos and stuff, but essentially, the Bulls are pretty much just, and the Lakers too are pretty much
Yeah, the Lakers, Celtics,
maybe
for the
the
most part.
Celtics too. They're always going to be some variation on their main themes. Um, but yeah, no, and the Flyers, I can't think of maybe other than the Flyers, Canadians and the Bruins, maybe in hockey are the other two teams that are pretty consistent, and I guess and the Maple Leafs because even the Rangers
Yeah.
sort of went with a darker blue, and they changed to that
Probably,
sort of
yeah.
Statue of
Most of the
Liberty
Canadian teams,
yoga.
I'm sure, like the Habs, uh, their uniform's been pretty
Yeah, but I mean,
much the
like
same.
Vancouver's gone through some pretty major
Yeah,
changes.
yeah, that's true.
Um, yeah, and even like I'm thinking of the original six. I guess Detroit also another one that's pretty iconic.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's nice that there is a team in Philadelphia that is right up there with, you know, why change it? It's one of those things where there's a slight little bit of frustration being a Flyers fan because you'd love some super really cool alternate throwback uniforms, but honestly, to throw it back, it's not all that different, you know.
right. Gene, do you have a Flyers thankful thing, or do you want to just go to another team?
I'd like to say that I'm thankful that they didn't fire Elaine Vio. I'm thankful that they gave him. I think that there was a lot of people. I don't know if it was necessarily calling for his head after last year, but I think that there certainly would have been a case to be made to let him go after last year. And you know, it's not uncommon to have a short hook with coaches in hockey. It's one of the ways that organizations sort of try and turn a corner or try to gain some sort of an advantage. But I'm really happy with the fact that the Flyers organizations didn't pull the plug on the Alain Vigneault era. I like him. I like the culture that he's sort of developed within the organization at the moment. He sort of restabilized things after Dave Hackstall, and yeah. So I'm happy. I'm thankful for Alain Vigneault.
Okay, I
I think
like
we
Alain
might be.
Vigneault. He's just
He's got a
cool.
cool vibe. Yeah, he's. I don't know if he's as cool as Peter Laviolette, but they give off that same sort of air of confidence to me, which I like to have at the front of my team.
I like it because it's like a smugness. I like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, what team you want to go to next?
I think the Sixers, and I have an idea that we might be thankful for the same thing with the Sixers.
Oh, go for it. I don't know that I have anything prepared, so
I am thankful
doing
for
it live.
Tyrese Maxey. I am thankful to have what is clearly looking like a legit point guard. If you look at sort of his numbers, even though the Sixers as a team are not winning the way that they sort of were at the beginning of the season, they have some real serious COVID injury issues. But if you're looking for a bright spot, just look at the statistics that Tyrese Maxey is putting up. And I will tell you, the one that really stuck out with me today was, I think, over the last 3 games or 4 games, he's only had 2 turnovers.
Yeah,
That is elite level. That is exactly what you sort of need from a point guard. He's averaging 24, 25 points a game, and he's only turning the ball over twice in 4 games. The guy he is more than I possibly expected coming in from where he was drafted, and I am so thankful that they did not just trade him off last year at the trade deadline for whoever they were talking about, for James Harden or whoever they were talking about pulling in. So that's what I'm thankful for with the Sixers.
That's a good one. Yeah, he definitely, like how he fell to us is just, I don't understand it. It's incredible. It's great. I'm super happy about it. It's awesome. I'm thankful for Charles Barkley.
Really?
I mean, I know Ben Simmons is the treasure, but I feel like Barkley really is just like an NBA treasure, not only from his playing career, but through his media career, through his persona and his personality. He's just like one of those media types that, look, in Philadelphia, we complain all the time about non-Philly people in the booth or at the desk. And we got to listen every Sunday, Michael Irvin on ESPN. We got to listen to Troy Aikman on Fox. We got to look at Jimmy Johnson all the time on these things. But we're fortunate enough to have Sir Charles when it comes to the NBA on TNT every night. Yeah. And I think he, respects the Sixers. He puts the Sixers in a positive light most of the time. And I'm happy to see him in the forefront. And like, as much as we say like, oh, Roy Halladay is really a Blue Jay or whatever, I really hope people in Phoenix go, Charles Barkley, great son, but he's really a Sixer. So,
right.
And that's the way I feel about it. And I love that I get to see Charles Barkley. I get to see a Sixer on TNT every night at the big desk.
And to your counterpoint, I think that very few people love having to deal with. There's a lot of people that hate the Cowboys. Not quite as much as me, but they do hate the Cowboys.
Right.
And, there are a lot of fan bases that would rather not have to listen to Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Moose, right, down there on the D squad. And I'm sure that if Emmitt Smith decided that he wanted to stop doing how to dye your hair commercials and wanted to call a game or two, maybe he would get there too. But I don't think that there's anybody that when they see Bubba Chuck goes, damn, I wish that we could see less Charles Barkley. He really
AI
doesn't
is
offer
Bubba Chuck.
anything. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sure that nobody says I don't want to see Sir Charles.
There you go.
Or my role model, because that was his whole thing with the
or the round mound of rebounds.
The round mound of rebound. But yeah, no, he was never a Sun. And where did he finish his career? Houston?
I don't know.
For like 5 minutes?
It's always Sixers and
it's always a Sixer.
I
had a picture from Sports Illustrated that hung in my room for a decade. That was from the finals, the Western Conference Finals, the year the Suns played the Spurs, and it was Charles Barkley dunking on or shooting over David Robinson, and David Robinson just has this face like, I can't believe that this tubby dude is dropping this shot over top of me. And it was just always one of my favorite shots that I had in my my art gallery. That was my room.
I like it. Let's go to Phillies. What are you thankful for at the Phillies, or do you want me to go?
Why don't you go first, since I went first last time?
I to be honest, the thing that I'm most thankful for at the Phillies organization is the tradition of broadcasting. We were fortunate enough to grow up in the era of Harry Callis and Richie Ashburn. It was just like they were the GOAT. It's just like legend, and it's a tough act to follow. And it was, I thought it was rocky there for a few years after the transition. But I'm really loving McCarthy and Kruk and what they have going on in the booth. And when I listen to games around the league, it just doesn't have that same level of quality that we have in Philadelphia. And if you still feel kind of on the fence about McCarthy, I would I've said it on the show before. I urge you to get the MLB Game Pass or whatever they call MLB TV and just check out other games because it's just not as good. And
just go on to MLB Network any night of the week when they are sort of going around the league late in those innings.
Yeah.
And you can
they plug in those feeds.
And you can sort of hear, and these are all in the big moments of the game, and you can hear how, and really my biggest problem is all of those sound so much the same. It's as if they have no unique personality to them whatsoever. If you listen to a call from Miami and you listen to the guy from Tampa and you listen to the guy from Anaheim, you can sort of plug and play any of those guys. They have the same pattern, the same rhythm. None of them inject anything sort of the way that the chemistry between McCarthy and Kruk and whoever else they've gotten in the booth, because they really do sort of have, in a way, a cast of characters that sort of come in and out all season that make it sort of fun to be a Phillies fan all year long.
Yeah, and I'll admit, Kruk gets a little weird with like calling shots, like calling for homers and stuff like that. But you roll with it because he's the he'll call out the team, he'll call out players, he'll criticize the team, and there's not really much fear of any sort of and then I'll even throw like post-game show in there too with Ricky Bottalico. He's really been a good find for that post-game show. Sort of an overlooked guy from the organization. He was an all-star that in an era of just really bad Phillies baseball. But he's really shining on that post-game show. I love.
He really does sort of, whatever happens in the course of the game, he really is able to sort of emote what I'm feeling so that I don't have to. I don't have to destroy something in my living room because Ricky Bottalico,
going to do it for you.
He's going to do it for me. It's sort of like going to one of those gritty mashup rooms, just watching Ricky Bo's blood pressure rise. I mean, it's probably taking years off this man's life for my entertainment, but thankfully he only has to do it for like a couple hours a day, and probably the rest of the time he can spend meditating or doing yoga.
Yeah. All right. Gene, you got Phillies one?
Yeah, I do. And sort of similar to what you were going. I'm not going to go necessarily with the current team, but I will say that the thing I am thankful for, and I was a firm vet kid. I grew up in those hallowed halls. I sat in those 700 levels, and I'll tell you, Citizens Bank Park is something that I truly, truly am thankful for. Yeah. There is very few, and we you and I together have been in a lot of ballparks, and Citizens Bank Park, no matter where we've gone, it's sort of still great to see a game at home. It's a great experience to go to a game at Citizens Bank Park. There really aren't that many bad seats in the entire place. It's fun to sit all sorts of different areas and experience the game from all different angles in that ballpark. It's fun just to stand in center field and watch a couple innings just from Ashburn Alley. It's finally sort of, in my opinion, now taken on a lot of the character that I loved about the vet. And it's not, there's something to be said for the fact that they've sort of brought back some relics from the vet. I love going and seeing that big bell that used to hang above the vet stadium. That was one of my favorite things to see when it was up in the, up on the top of the building. And I I love to go and get my picture taken in front of it. I love, I know I can say to somebody, hey, I'm going to meet you by the Steve Carlton statue, or I'm going to meet you by the Schmidt statue, and you sort of develop that shorthand. It's just a great place, and now it's even sort of got its own sort of heroes that have come and gone. You've got guys like Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley and Ryan Howard and Cole Hamels. You've got returning heroes that have come and gone from that place, and you're in sort of the second or third generation of great Phillies that are now have only called Citizens Bank Park home. Even Rollins, Utley, Howard, all of those guys were carryovers, and I think certainly Rollins and Utley. I think Howard played at the Vet, maybe not, but I know Rollins and Utley both debuted in the Vet.
No, because you remember that they brought in Tomei
Right.
to kind of open Citizens Bank.
Yeah,
kind of blocked Howard for a couple of years.
But I think when it was first being built, I may have had sort of a like, well, it'll never be the Vet. It's starting to get, it's certainly coming up on the Vet's heels, if not very soon going to surpass.
Well,
the
we
amount
were
of
morons. If you want to wax poetic about the Vet, you're a moron. Like, you just don't want nice things. Because the Vet was a dump. It didn't see many championships, just the one. What do you love about the Vet? I mean,
there's very little to love about it now, considering it may have literally been shortening careers from some of our favorite players having to play on those surfaces.
Yeah.
So
total dump.
Hard to love.
I don't miss it at all. And by the way, Citizens Bank Park is a great place to see a game, and single game tickets are on sale, and the Angels are coming to town. So if you're interested in that, I would suggest get out there.
Shohei, and Mike Trout.
Yeah. Yep.
Some great players coming in, and the Angels don't come very often. I think it's like once every
Saturday game. The Saturday game is sold out unless you want to buy a 3-game plan. So you cannot buy Saturday, but there are still tickets for Friday and Sunday. Okay, great. Eagles. And then we're going to go eat turkey.
Yeah. Thank you for the. Shockingly enough, I'm sort of grateful for a lot of things about the Eagles right now. You caught me on a good day.
Good. Go ahead.
But I'm gonna go off the maybe not off the board, but I'm gonna go certainly because so many whiffs at this position. I'm going to say I am really thankful for Devontae Smith. He is a player I really enjoy watching. He was drafted, a first-round draft pick with a wide receiver, and everybody's going, God damn it, not again. And he's supposed to come in with all these, size issues, but he really has been sort of as advertised. And I really do think he is going to be an Eagle for a long time and a star player and a guy that is going to have a lot of highlight catches in that uniform. So I am today most thankful for Devontae Smith.
All right. There's a reason I saved this one for last. And it's because this is the one that of all 4 of them, this is the one that I am absolutely the most thankful for. And it is Eagles fans. There is nothing in any sport in the United States of America that compares to Eagle fandom.
Yeah.
From snowballs at Santa Claus to eating horse shit after you win the Super Bowl to that's fucking bullshit lady that was on Sunday to the unlike Aguilar guy. Eagles fans are out of control. They're a rare breed. And that Super Bowl run in 2017 was unlike anything I have experienced in my life from a community level. Like from Phillies World Series, Flyers in the Stanley Cup, Sixers in the finals, Eagles in the Super Bowl was completely next level. When my work is stopping work so everyone can go down to the lobby and sing the Eagles fight song. Why? Why? Because we're insane. Because we're insane.
My job, we stopped the entire workday just to go. We all piled into the conference room, and we didn't just watch some of the parade. We it was hours. We watched like 3 hours of parade coverage. Just nothing got done that day because nobody really could think about anything else. And then to see like that conference room on that big screen, Jason Kelsey, it what might be the greatest victory speech in the history of victory speeches after a Super Bowl. Can you name another one?
Well, the other one I would name would be Chase Utley's World Fucking Champions. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is no other fan base. Like, do you think when two San Francisco 49ers fans see each other in Disney World or whatever, they're going to go make a specific trip to acknowledge one another and say, "Go Niners"? I mean, the way the Go Birds is just ubiquitous. It's like I feel compelled to say it whenever I see someone out in the wild that is, sporting the Eagles green or they got the eagle on the chest or they got a jersey on. It's always Go Birds. So with that, I think we're going to wrap it up here. I hope everyone has an awesome Thanksgiving. I hope you have a great time with your family and friends, and stay safe. Get vaccinated. Wear a mask. All that good stuff. Don't drink and drive, because Wednesday is going to be a big night for that. We'll be back next Tuesday talking about Eagles. Who do the Eagles have this week? Eagles Giants recap. I promise we're going to squeeze in some more Sixers talk and some more Flyers updates. I think the Phillies kind of on the back burner, but maybe Byron Buxton. I don't know. Maybe they'll make a trade and they'll sneak into the conversation. So if you haven't done so already, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search Podadelphia. If you have any more time in your podcast listening day, be sure to check out the Whip Around for all the week's weird news. Also, check out the Painted Lines on YouTube for your wall-to-wall Philly sports coverage. Also, check out the Philly Sports Alliance on Facebook for yet even more Philly sports coverage. Until next Tuesday, have a great day at work, everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving. We are out of here.